Hi, this is Suzanne in Ohio. Hey, I have a follow-up video this morning um, from my last video when I was working on this towhee, and I was trying to think about a background setting for him. This is one of the birds in my bird kits, and I wanted you to see what I ended up doing with him. And I had a different for me. I approached it differently, and I wanted you to see how I came up with this. He looks stunning sitting in this background of really, they're just blackberry brambles, and I wanted to show you how I came up with that. It's a simple setting, even though it looks a little complicated. So I began thinking about putting him in something simple so I didn't compete with how handsome he was. He's pretty stunning in real life. I hope you can see that. But what I had in my computer was an image of, and I'll show you this. This was an original watercolor I had done of some blackberry brambles. And what I did was I took that image and I printed it off in an enlarged size in two different shades of green, and I printed it on fabric. So you can see here I have a darker green over here, and then some of the sprigs are real light, and I just loved how it printed out. It's kind of muted in one way, which gave me an opportunity to stitch on top of the leaves without competing with anything that was already on there. So I printed it out on fabric, and if you've never done that, it's easy. I have a very cheap printer, and it still does it quite nice. Nothing to worry about. I used just normal white muslin. Actually, it may be a little less than muslin. It was a roll of wonderful cutoffs that I found at the thrift store. Don't know what kind of cotton it was, but it had a lot of sizing in it. So I adhered it to my piece of cardstock with some spray-based temporary adhesive and ran it through my computer. And then after I had the piece, the two images, the dark and the light, printed out, I backed them. And this is a piece of Pellon. I wanted to show you how thin it is. And it does have an adhesive on it, but it's not a solid adhesive. It's those little tiny dots. And what I have found out is this Pellon product just simply melds itself right into the back of the fabric. I love how this works. Now, a caveat here is I have lots of foundation type things. I pick them up at the thrift store, and I don't always know what they are. Some of them work, some of them shrink when you iron them. It's just happenstance for me. But this one I purchased, of course, at Joann's. I know I can get it online too, but I have a Joann's real close to me. And this one is called F44P or PF44. So keep that in mind. It is lightweight. It keeps a soft hand to it even after you put it on the back of your fabric. So after I had done that, I just simply cut out and leaving a little bit of white around the edge of all the leaves, and I placed them on a background. Now, my background is just a bunch of scraps I had, and you can see it right up here in the top. This was canvas that I had printed on with acrylic paint and my rubber stamps or clear stamps. And that I I just wanted that touch of blue, and I wanted the busyness of it. So that worked out good, and I had some printed in green, so I put that at the bottom. After you get your collage together, nothing shows very much. It just adds to um, the personality of it. And I realized I needed a little bit of shading back here, so I laid some black tulle down behind the leaves, just to give me that darkness of shadow. Now I could have also used some wool rovings, but I had that laying on my table and I used it, and I was real happy with the way it turned out. So this is how I finished off this towhee, and I did do a self binding. It's a solid piece of fabric here. I left it big enough to bring it to the front and wrap it toward the front, and then, it looks like a binding, but it's not quite as fiddly or as bulky when you get done. I just love how it turned out. Also on the back, I put these little triangles, and if you've never seen that before, your little dowel rod, or in this case, a barbecue skewer, bamboo, it just fits right up there, and this is your hanging mechanism. That way you only have to have one tiny little nail or pin or whatever you're going to do with it. So there's that finished project. Now, I also have a rule I try to follow if I don't forget. I never let one of my creations go without making a good image of it. And here's what I did with my image. I made these stand-up greeting cards. I call them cabinet cards because they stand right up on the shelf. I use a real stiff cardstock type product. And you can see the envelope doesn't fit, and I don't care because it will fit in there even though the envelope's a little too large. My stuff is upcycled, recycled, repurposed, and so irregularities and imperfections exist. So what I did was let's move this. Before I sewed him in here, I got some good photographs of just the applique. Because if you've seen any of my bird kits, what you're creating with this fabric collage method is you're actually creating an applique. And I stitch it on, it's a larger piece, and do all my stitching, and then I cut him out. So I got some good photographs of him, and I have sized this so that I got as much use out of my piece of paper as possible, because this is not super cheap. It's presentation paper, and the colors print out on it absolutely beautiful. So I have all these images that I can add to cards or to journals. So I want to show you how I did that. I did another card with another image that I had. Now the background image is a fabric collage of, I did a series of 4 fantasy mushrooms. So this mushroom print was pretty plain by itself, so I cut out my towhee and put him right there in the corner coming onto into the image. And there you have a second card. So I encourage you, if you're creating anything, get a good photograph of it and print yourself off some things that you can use for other projects. And I promise you, it will give you ideas. Sometimes we get in a rut, don't we? And our mojo just isn't there. But you start rummaging through all the little things that you've created extra or on the side, and then the ideas start coming. So you will find the kit for this towhee as well as 4 other birds on my Etsy site, and I want you to take a look at it up close and just see if you would like to make one yourself. You can put him on any background that you can think of, and that's what creativity is all about. So I thank you for watching, and I hope you're stitching or creating in some way. And I'll see you again soon. Probably immediately following this video, I'll have another one up about some new slow stitch collage kits that I'm putting together. And I'm real excited about them because they're so different and unique. So take a watch for that one. And I'll see you soon from Northeast Ohio. It's snowing here off and on and moderately cold, right around 17 degrees. So greetings to everybody all around the world. Thank you for watching. If you were inspired in any way, give me a thumbs up and please leave me a comment. I love to hear from where you're watching. All right, thanks a lot. Bye.